lives will be live forever. Good morning, Mr. Massimo Simpli, Mr. Massimo Simpli. Or simply, 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 David. It's David Lynch. It's January 28th, so really only 4 days to the end of this January 26th. And also this first month of 2026, and also this is also the last Wednesday of this first month of 2026. Yes, this is January 2026. In fact, it's Wednesday in Naples. Just a few hours ago it was totally cloudy and also raining, also tonight, but now in these last hours you can see that we have a mid sky. And also now obviously mid sky for me practically it's equivalent of variable, and so and sunny or clear day scatters general alternately with clouds or vice versa. And this is the case of today, or for this moment. And at the moment it is also a very heavy wind and cold wind, and yes, and it's early afternoon 13 and 13 and 35 minutes. 55 45 at 13 Celsius, and seems this really cold like this. We have cold gadget for the winter period in Swiss reports of forest explosion. See effect Jonathan for the sensation until factory perché for the sue cose si in fact as passa summer in general summer strapson no remember if you follow the me in as summer I think body so factory perché non so for years si guarda di autunno now for winter perché non in particolare due season sempre in particolare anziché sentire 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy. Era sarà bisogno di un bel cinese positivo. I'm sure at first it really seems so sets me things on proposal like the version to Chinese veteran purpose paradox to me. Io si vede la operation sono di spinge esame di auto si fa con spinge su soft per esempio del soft fondo auto once again ci soft sono generale così si rovira sa. Questi gadget and as you were in these at least for me was something who seems to weather absolutely incomplete but no and this period being winter so it's cold so it's contra we should complete but when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete I'm really feeling this referring to me in particular really for this period for the fact I don't feel cold but I feel cold less another people think so say practice better to practice for the second which I fate cold and when it comes winter period winter the first period I always sweat come to check sperimentare si practice in this case this year I will take the first part of questa compagnia stessa so if someone is interested in the first part of the first part of the NASC so if someone is interested in the practice I don't know if it's più fornita finché not because in fact if you cold non think yes or no this is pensionament I think 95% if you cold in general in some way for me was good still not scatto sottosfiangiato I don't know if I can say something just for this it's good and tutto complicated fa che devi things in this being here think at temperature this is bit just before 55 45 13 Celsius at relative atmosphere at ci vedi just before the 27. Yes, the cortine sono se cortine già se mi pensa a me ci siamo most perfect si suppose in fact non sono da repeat this sky yes repeat until few just for first theory till few hours ago was real totally cloudy so it was also raining really bad weather atmosphere sky now it's middle Considering the so this is an alternative with the clause vice versa, considering the trends in last days, as a particular tonight and yesterday, calling consequent Puerto Rico, in similar situations, I think, in this case, you consider it will be also both clear and cloudy. It will come out sunshine, and also at the sun joins sunshine particular, and also it will be cloudy, but for me, considering all these things, I think could be, if not totally, mostly cloudy. And also that might rain, or better see if you are raining, because repeat just a few hours ago was raining. We see, let's see what happens. I think yes, but so esempio solamente non ci penso, quindi non si può questi university come scrivo today, very clear. Well, bad, perhaps better the contract, bad, well, or bad, maximum, absolutely good. So si dice, quindi il momento portiamo in frase, un frase mix, tutti quanti sono partenza senza la sta number one, un articolo sembrava il nostro birth, in particolare terra vertigo breves, abbiamo scortiamo l'informazione di una sette cose, beautiful grey curti, the beautiful paint with bench, è stato rip in the past, in fact from the curti, for the best, in the curti, building the ready, mate, so ready, one of my comments in the section, so in case one of my comments in the section, it should be recorded the first comment, for two comment, one of them is ready, comment section, I don't know if you can see or notice it really well in the shot near the enemy, perhaps in yes. See the green flowers, the long flowers mixed with green plants. Or if not, even better, surely better, snapshot writing this part of video which Perugia lasciato you the weather scatter sia James, il classico medico Windows classico di Roma, sono preso as a rapsum non risorso di other mythical room, other mythical window. More from a broader perspective, also from this other shot similar to the classical shot film more than 30 secondi, previous cortina beat before the cortina print benches, perhaps also professor questo ottiene il nostro ricordo, forse fare la cortina if anteriore exactly si sure varie cortine si sticano un po' nel mio giorno, sono diventati 15 era also sì, si shot sono related to effect of when the recent really shooter non sono misi ma more di rischio se effect si measure unless you read a little speech or sentence or in case you for the cortina beat before the cortina before print benches perhaps in case for the cortina and if also in this case I don't remember exactly now also in this case I will also see a edit for the new routine sorry but repeat expressions in this for 5 times so as in this little speech or sentence this is but also always better visible for me its entity even in this shot at this point is mythical legend shot. As regarding the shooter today, division of the division since the first days of last October, but it's important that also today is not visible. And as you read with the speech sentence for the routine solid, so valid also read, so I repeat once again, but also know is better visible for me, its entity, in this shot, it is one mythical legendary shot. And finally, one mythical keeper, Ajax, on the 40 PG, because it's also in the case of the mythical legendary shot. Vestiamo the people of Rojani, what's the beating the world, so going system. So myself, I was supposed to and finally, I hope you will get breakfast. Today it's late in general, also, in fact, when I say late, from us, As immediately it's list December 31, not occasion for this time. It's late in January, and I'm all for the record at not 12 hours. Because hours, it's a kind of normal day, make breakfast at in fact these hours, it's sometime late, but so kind of normal day. But the whole important is that questi fare io for the reaction, some street was a sudden fucking breakfast, then it's really the rest of it. Drinking milk at Fintan and part of the test was yesterday, think Trago is regos in the streets was Rajo. The repeat Los Sigariego, Litos, Nas, Simtam not, more or non, yes, the just for. I just roll obviously just include 13:35 minutes. But the important thing show sia mi sette in some way also today fortunately so non mi e naso io assassino. E che fa sono mosso everything is for absolutely you know it's mosso io I think anticipate more than 1 year. I was sullo sto punto di think like effect of the X from release on Friday as it crashed 5 weeks of 5 Friday ago and so it was the 5th instrument reports beautiful red black and so white that if the model comparison because all things that perhaps no will follow me in particular fact on Friday with report think body as in all the videos I bit yes should this should be the time in the video. Vabbè, I promise you that one day o one time sono damage 54 su 4 visitator day c'è stato sul singolo di speech for some shots oggi finito il gioco solito che fatto nessuno meno su for some basic some effect fact tra maybe un combo su basic siesta finché torna mess the basic non tabs chocolate chip cookies the cookies ci shops chocolate chop chicks and if I'm not mistaken also fatto biscuit sono iniziali Matti in particolare, attenzione alle visite si fa quanto mi faccio shot sono che coffee tosa squiscio ho preso fatto soltanto per scegliere windows shot in iniziati fin 7 months adesso non so non è si finisce yes so se che se lo sto conosci mi sento bene sono già 50 per lo so non è si finisce no mi dice anzi per tutti quanti che think 203 days quindi se lo sto conosci mi sento bene sono già 50 per since 7 months a parte in certi ritmi che ne mix per quelli e quindi se usi tecnica del breakfast a bomba se mi partiva la mega come fosse grazie per il gioco ma se mania so un corso non è finito first time so vet video e facciamo un senso di tutto in cosa breakfast so se mega bomba se continua se non sia fa ne farebbe sia la buona garanzia mi sa se un po' più perhaps so che sia qui di bam ti già non si può più sì Migos, altre spese così ci fa mirare fatta da Italia per mandare che c'è più cibi si fa. Qualcosa, altri come non dico. Migos, era lì super bello. Anzi, muore su questo fronte, perché non ti sono tutto quello che l'è, ma vuoi sì.